94.7 Asempa FM so ne Ekosiisen dwumedie ena wasugu so a utie no yeda munyina ase esan so ma munyina akwa babie Franco Trading Enterprise, TCL The Creative Life, Dependable Herbal and Global Lighting Center Limited eboy my discussion segment no abramo make say adea lawyer Sami Jemfi, National Communications Officer NDC Atenase Martin Nkadada, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, former MP Lejokoko, former Deputy Health Minister Odonso Atenase studio ha oba Ekosiisen so amunim say oye the official government spokesperson or ha obeboa me de yem komo no abremo. From now till 6:30 p.m. Intermunction and so emfa MIA. Budget near one of the major issues I ever discussed, and at least across the table, you know, the MFAN started, right? Budget 2021. Samuel, the Ebesha say, Anna.
No, let him throw light on certain things. Go
ahead. I'm not paying I'm shas, you know, be.
A sequel from Anopano.
No problem. But Obi,
Same.
the kind my mentia at T4 and the one who are or social media. So to say the Ghana Mrache. On my photo sound for the Ghana Yakohumabo Sika for 2021 2021 budget no akomra shebedwe mo imprim Ghana mra shebedwa for ebubu ho nipa bebre na aka ensem afa budget ho na me ene me kasa bebia me pese me start e free no Ekosiisen ye wose Ghana ni a wutie enwumre bia wo bisa ho ne se 2021 budget so nhyehyeye ewo mu no e di impuntuo ene ahoto bebre yen as omanfo ana me feel say that is the most important question e wose Ghana ni bia bisa no. Will the 2021 budget create development? Will it create jobs? Will it create prosperity? Will it provide comfort for the people? Anase edia hochire esun enya benedie na ebeto Ghana force. That for me is the fundamental issue. Now with this question in mind, no, mejebre edoso budget ni mo. Na obi nyame ni nukuri ni de mi hu ye no e ma me se femie ama me raho because the what budget we mu no se Ghana fo bebre hu a ka ye nyina ye best start e de yensa gu yeti akasa a make sure say budget we ye bi ewo mu no will not see the light of day because budget we a budget bonia on Asempa FM aho kira ede ba beto Ghana for so no ebi nsi Ghana FM. I have never seen any government display this height of insensitivity, this height of wickedness, this height of deception against the people of this country. Obedient in America, sir. Yenyina yenim say if last year be seen Ghana of wawa huchrim partly because of COVID. Baye ema kofa lockdown baye na watwe me ensa manyuma yo for work out swan crank kumase ne mpata mu tutu o madwuma mu. Now even after the lockdown was eased, affected businesses bebre. Meaning hotels bebre o ma lay off workers. Enyuma bebre o ma yiye adwuma yo for bebre di because o musika o mo di adwuma bebre ahye. Ama o mu dwetire o mu di dwa no ana o mu di o mu dwuma no abafom. O mo mfa so abafom. And the businesses all across the country have been suffering as a result of the debilitating impact of the pandemic on their businesses. Jobs have been lost, livelihoods destroyed, and all that. And then Ghana nko ani akosa atibia we mu. Enu ti abanya wotema odwen ne manfo ho no. De wasa wo ye no wo samre we mu ni se. Ope kwan a obefa so akitakita ne manfo mu. No den hyehyeye a ebetete nyema so kakra na ma ne manfo ho high omo na diaba. This is the time to provide relief to businesses because we are not out of the woods yet. The negative impact of COVID on businesses is still with us. Nothing has changed. Enti mrewe na wase ye boa businesses ye mame mo mudi dwa kwan ben so na ye betimi afa so mo menya bosia hu nsi hu beba fom kwan ben so na ye betimi afa so why open economy no to encourage economic activity, to encourage production, to encourage job creation. Sane be ni sika kakra na ekita no dandan ne kakra na de hye na adwuma ni mu a na mfa so no dandan na fa adwuma na timi agina yie. Afedia wo se o to nyema bomu a na wate ase ba ne ya enwuma bebre bi agu na afi ne bi peso mo sori bi nyina mo na so sika sama ya basa o man ni mo aye den no. This is not the time o the policies e dia ho kire ebeto Ghana for so ba Ekosiisen so dia na o mampanyi akufu ado ene na be dia kire Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ye ukohwe 2021 budget mu a omo de eto ahodo polepole nwotwe ena omo pese omo de begu Ghana for so na sa to no se ye gitum ne de adwuma aho kire de beba Ghana no menua enya ho kire ketwa uye MPP ni aho be kire ubi uye NDC ni aho be kire ubi uye CPP ni a you will feel it. So when you NDC MPP asem we have to talk as Ghanaians and be truthful with ourselves.
Asempa FM.
Obi. Etwa ode ba no so bia ni wa eye justify there was a Ghana futua. Enu ti na mani abre no. Because eni say ye gitum, eni say anam sifo e wo mrache be dwam gitum si yentua. Because none of those taxes na ye justified say was yentua. Etwa no ebi ne de kan. Or say or the COVID levy. COVID-19 aba. Wama ye free water aban no see 2020 or my free water, free electricity obo COVID hoka
on Asempa FM
eno nti no opese Ghana for yetua to na sa aka aba beda ho no odi kotua obi say say we atem didie because Ghana for sebi mpenyufo nyankoda Mampenye kufuado oni wabedi echiri ba womia mo na mo ka kire last year ye beto aba ne se COVID aba ho kire aba nti wo ma yinsu free wo ma yinkani free ana meboa pacho omode mai no mo ka se nkani na e post speed ye di free wo na echiri watua omo ka se nsuo no e post paid omo di free ye na echiri yetua debi omo se ye free because ye dream ho ena omo ye campaign wo krom ha Nipam bedwam na obi dware ne ho nsɛm awuro no de nsu ogu ne ho aden ayama ye free water. Eno mudi ye campaign wo krom wa de gi to me. Rightly or wrongly so. Eno de ye nko. Afedie uni obuo ma Ghana fo nti no wo be ka kire nse ade a wo ka say ye free no ye ntua ho ka. Who does that? Why na yesa?
Basa sa aka na enye nsuo ne electricity ne nkwa
no eka hu bi
yenye no nkwa
no but eka hu bi so why must we pay for that free water you can other things no
okay.
Why must we pay for that free water and free electricity? Why? Because it was supposed to be free. So the can't say you say e na da na buy the person odidi no. This is deception and we must not accept it. The second reason tia NDC you say Enya Ghana nkwa na ye free water. Ene sa free nyema no during COVID. Rwanda anye bi. Cote d'Ivoire anye bi. So many other African countries, may cite even advanced countries, African countries. Eye bi ma wa mamanfo because na ban ne wo temama wo manfo say COVID aba ho kira ba nti me fa hyehyɛ bi ma mo ho be hen mo na modwuma etimi agina ne na so. Stimulus bosian kitinkiti ya omo cheche ma omo MPP executives yi no mo de ma ebi no mo de campaign we na election So many
NPS
countries have done
idea,
so. Of course.
MPP for
MPP executives are nature.
market women
MPP for executives are nature. And on chair for election purposes. Yeah, the man say only feel for money na monto abama omampenya kufuado. But I'm even saying say enya buy we nkwa na ye bi other jurisdictions
Ekosiisen on
which of those countries? And what who say this year omo the COVID levy aba omo man so. Rwanda for omo the COVID levy aba. Say man free water, 3 days until they say muntu ato. What kind of wickedness is this? Ghana Nkwa is not the only country that experiencing COVID. Yeah, these relief programs for businesses. So if other countries have not instituted or introduced any COVID levy, why Ghana? Why Bawumia and Akufo-Addo's Ghana? Obi utie me. The third reason why in here, sa tax no, any say ya jitu mu ne say. Obi. Say oh ye bibia mame. And then me say Dr. Kubo argument this oh ye den ya ade aban ya maye no or ya boy on the ye sika ni bitu. It is true. But sa wo di misika di kan tua de ka. Na wa ya mame awie no san so se mi nsa ntua ka e double payment e kro no na wo de bome no. Enyema aban we ye during the COVID season nyina no. Ida say Ghana for sika. Ananse sika bosi omukọ boy ya Ghana fo ni betua no mode ye bie ni wo mampenye Akufo-Addo odi ni botum sika na ye ana wokọje ne yire bosia e de be ye. So every expenditure, and I am encouraging Obia, check the last page of the 2021 budget, that is page 292 of the 2021 budget, appendix 12A and 12B. Aban we yankasa sikanko omanya as a result of COVID ne de omodi aye no, it is spelled out there. Obi utie me.
Me too, Sammy.
And there is nothing na omaya magana for na sika na ho. Enti ka be no mabo a omo se ye ntua to no mfa ngotua no. Menti ase.
That's omo je bosen a
ba to tie ni ye. Je di kan COVID bae e na mokoje bosia wo IMF ho. Se we die momwayo na economy ni egu. Tintempa moma ye bosia. Just a 3 weeks lockdown ekuyen. And IMF for mamo $1 billion. What the bag Ghana sika mu 5.8 billion Ghana cedis.
Which has to be paid back.
TME.
Okay.
Now time I was here to anokra nu ye. To the nyanto was no ye number 1. And a World Bank for sika bia what the man is enke emfa nya de $100 million. Or no so mo de chair. And no crowd the mo de chair yen.
And a grant.
Yes, $100 million. And yes, so Eko Ghana ye oil sika no for two bi mo find stabilization fund enu po de no ma president ma buy na apesa sika na to from ye nyina ye oil sika so odwen Ghana hunti no oye mmara ne se ye oil sika no ma ye ni nyina preko pe ba ye nti bi si na ho kire ba ye de aba be so man asene enye the odija nchiri man heritage fund we dey stabilization ho kire ba ye mfa be so man fo asene to stabilize the situation. And also confirm $200 million, more than 1 billion cedis. And then also the best COVID to call him. And no muno, and also call Bank of Ghana. Say on map ne yenchesi kamano. Bosian 10 billion Ghana cedis. And no, mnache be bia form an approval. Say on kwaje 10 billion Ghana cedis no. Benne yenim say waje amana broso more than 100%, waje 22 billion Ghana cedis. Into when you $1 billion from IMF, when you $100 million free bonto from World Bank, when you 10 billion, we diabro so 22 billion from the Bank of Ghana, sika bebrebe we nyina na wenya from COVID. Apart from that, no, AFDB for so mayen 405 million Ghana cedis. European Union for my 504 million Ghana cedis.
Are they grants or loans?
The way you know it's not indicated yet.
Okay.
I will have to double check on that. It's not indicated appendix 12B.
Okay.
Enti sika yenya no. Uhwemu a over 19 billion actually. And they as a result of COVID. Or more document to say total allocated amount for sa COVID to kwa we nyina no. 19.3 billion cedis. Unim dodo mo de bo COVID ho bra. Free water sika omode ye relief to health workers, support to households no and ye free water na de keka oni aduane omo cheche, soft loans omode ma micro and small and medium sized businesses, and the Ghana for na wa ma no omode on buy sika omode ye 1.2 billion out of 19.3 no omode 1.2 billion we enyem na meka e wo mo budget mo and omo wie ye no omo say PP medical equipment ni treatment de omo ye nyina no and also omo emergency preparedness no omo de 532 million to kabomu a 1.7 billion per out of this 19.3 billion and omo de bo covid hobra
including test
Nina
enhance
Nina that is here you check their budgets obi covid expenditure funding omo budget in 2.5 billion. What was actually utilized was 1.7 billion. And my Joy Online a report. Government spent 1.7 billion on COVID. Joy News checks review. Because government spent 19.3. No, it was a lie. He's been exposed. A lie is a lie. My kind of channel. And Joy force say, and they are no more story. No matter check it. Ghana are buying spending 19 billion on COVID. It is 1.7. This is my Joy Online. It is on the website. Check now. Diakano 19.3 no kra nya nyina no ma use 18.1 1.7 no mo de bo covid ho bra diaka ni nyina no mo so mo de budget support obitie mi ye. The reason why we must not pay this covid levy budget support ne dian aban ne so de ka o de kotua ho nsi ho debt servicing ene no mo de ye campaign nyema mo cheche ni free bond to TV ne sa nyema ni nyina no budget support ni bia wasted the money. That is it.
Budget support.
Now, the papa no man in the Chrome with that 16.4 billion almost somebody higher deficit financing. Deficit financing basically mean say what disika borrow revenue so. Enti say what deka. Enti we say we tuaka no.
Yes.
Enti sika ya de ma say from COVID no. What the emu 16.4 kutua sa aka no. And now the move 1.7 per year COVID ho adwuma. Free water so having wasted 16.4 billion and the deficit came about because of your own recklessness. O spend this because of us all winning power at all costs. So electioneering expenditures are my why Cote d'Ivoire has experienced deficit, and I keep on citing Cote d'Ivoire because of money economy structure near pay. Omo deficit sika omo diabro omo revenue so no 5.7% for 2020. Ghana young 13.8. Why should Cote d'Ivoire have a deficit of 5.7 and 13.8? So you create this hole and you go and use Sika what's what they call COVID no to do deficit financing, and you come and tell Ghana for into a COVID levy 1.7 no Sika bebrebe we what the so
you the whole not have come about as a result of reduced revenues because of COVID. Activity a bit more generating revenue.
Come out revenue back from no okay expenditure down. The responsible thing for any parent, any government to do, they say, so I want you to be now what cut you ya teswa. Also expenses when you so you cut your quote according to your size. Now when your revenue was coming down, but you were wasting money on useless electioneering, vote buying gimmicks. Nene reality not done you as a Ghana for go to your at the time while we are still in COVID, what has changed? You want to heap all these taxes on Ghanaians at the same time. Obi, where tax bit is Esla. You see, MPP for and that is why some of us continuously warn, say, don't trust these people. Esla, Omanpenyi, Mahama Deba 2015, 2016. MPP for can say, nuisance tax. And he said, Ghana food share. Na Mahama time edinti no de aba ombo mbetwam omba ye omantwam o na danti omatum 22%. That's within 4 years. Asan so de akosi awowa akoje bosia Mahama de to ne bai no ye nhehye yesen ke betua no mfie 9 pe. They say was say awowa omodi akosi akoje bosia nti na wosi etua no mfie edu num 15 years. 22% amoje ye no mutu mu nti no Esla jo Mahama nya just about 3.5 billion pe.
Ekosiisen on
from Esla tax no. Ghana for you tuya on fu obia ya to obia utua to fu obia no utua bi. But man penye Kufuor nim de ono kwanya no from Esla 12 billion. They no dey nothing. We see one secondary school, onye kwan papa bia wo krom ha, onye hospital, onye hwe. Then you come and tell us Esla no stand so abetu mu biem. Na ube see so aka wan hye yema, sika bebreba wadi ka anya no, wo de ye den. National Health Insurance Levy, o se no so obetum. Wo ba ye catch ra say health insurance sika na enso kra dada. Obi why name say health insurance e financial issues. And so I buy way I do free painting no more them ready by capping and realignment. Health insurance sika na enso no in 4 years sika nko mampenye kufuado health insurance sika wasn't called the common health insurance for one fanko no the year budget financing year be no e bro 3 billion cedis o ma say no kwa. So you deprive health insurance of funds through capping and realignment. Then after that you come and tell us that we should pay 1% more NHI. Na bebrebe na oje no the year. Then or say road toll the same thing. When you say Esla na yetua no ebi ko road fund. I mean the kwan. Omo ba ye within 4 years.
On Asempa FM.
Road fund for sika 2 billion o mampenye kufuado wa kape. Wa fa ma road fund for ma yanfa anye kwan. Or the high budget support. Ohu de odi sika na ye. Ankoye kwan. We see yensan so ntua road levy. Boiler tax. Sa sanite enokra na ye mabufu no. Ghana ha yetua at the municipal level obi assembly bia o property rate ayeje o ni municipal levies ayeje o utua sanitation ka ana obi meboa. We pay sanitation levies already. He's an MP, he knows. Why another sanitation levy? In any case, when you check appendix 6B of the budget, Abayne say sika or the beye sanitation wejuma for 2021 90 million Ghana cedis. But one or see in Tuano 2021 million budget 311 million Ghana cedis. Now just the na year Tuano, you bet you have 311 million Ghana cedis. But the moon 90 million pen the best is a ball and wejuma. The aka no more the mudi. They are using it for consumption. They are using it for nyema Ghana for nyason fasubia. Why must we pay this? Obi, wo nchire unwato wana. Ghana ya dindindi wudi dana. This if a government in this critical period wants to heap as many as 8 taxes on its citizens, that government is wicked and not fit to lead that country. Matthew Kojo Oponkro make a burden sharing. What burden are they sharing? Ono Kojo Oponkro man, what burden is he taking? Yatini peso. What is that buying no kase? I want you to wait until mumuntua tax. Yes, we better expenditure. So, until minister be yatini peso 30%. So when you come and say burden sharing, what burden sharing? You are heaping the burden on the people. You are enjoying. You are buying new Land Cruisers. It be quiet. All Lexus now more.
The president would argue, sir, or tell a number of ministers. So,
I know they are reduced again. So here we are, who savings or my save. I know they are reduced again. Time was 2020 or more shisika wa no. What you say? And Obi, mess na babeda wokrano.
So I mean, you've done 20 minutes.
Obi,
be wrapping up.
And no doors. Na make bibi say ubesi yeso a enka wo hye ma. Hwe. Aban we. Eba bosen a. Mabobi chen bia. I want to show you so many sika cha aban bia. Omo fanya de papa bia Ghana fo nya so mfa so. So why must they tax us more for us to pay more taxes? Oman penya ku fa do be di akonwa na Ghana kaya 120 billion Ghana cedis. Free Kwame Nkrumah be cedis. J Kufuor be do 9.7 billion. President Mills DBC 35 billion Ghana cedis. Meaning all the 26 billion account. John Mahama DBC 120 billion or the 84 billion account. Oman penya ku fa do ne in 4 years. Or they have drew 291.6 billion. Or no the 171 billion account. And Ghana Kauchema Ghana for 30 million. Ghana ni akoda kwa ya won ne the cap 100 million sikada da 10,000 Ghana. E kam mere o man no. Such that enne your total revenue sika man si obenya no 2021 nyina no. Se wote the odi betua e ka ye de ne ho nsi ho interest payments. No tie adwuma yo fo sika free mu sika na sa.
Aka 10.5 billion Ghana.
And 10.
10.5.
Because total revenue is projected at 72 billion.
61 billion for interest and compensation.
Interest is 35 billion.
And the compensation, Ukabuma 61 billion.
Interest is 35 billion.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And umpo check here, that's about 90 something percent. So the akano obi statutory funds enyebi. District Assembly Common Fund enyebi. Get fund enyebi. And omunyina enyebi. Capital expenditure the be kwan the be school. The be hospital. Ye enyebi mfanye. I just yakobo bosia. Ana yakosa.
on Asempa
Goods and services the be manage the institutions anywhere. So Ghana is broke. The economy is in shambles.
Asempa FM.
Se wo bobra na wo je obosomi akatua na wo de ebi kotua ka ensi hu a wo de no wo ka ho ene wadwuma ye fo kakra wo fie udi tua o mo ka na wo sika asan say we broke, you are bankrupt. Ni nyina ya bosia bebrebe o mabo a bosia ni nyina so ye de twa enum spelele. No investment besine jo mahama bobosia sika wo de ka Ghana ka ho 84 billion. Circle interchange this way, Rage Hospital in this way, hospital, suku, akwan. Mudie yehu secondary school sukura mudie si. Yehu airport oh please, nyanto was here. I told you because it make us for 10 minutes. Yeah, chance to speak first. One kasa obi. Me must start first no ojanche na we against.
Oh yeah, 25 minutes so pe.
What is here?
Doctor
So sika we nya bosia. Ube see yeso aka wo hye ma obi de na wo de aye. Obobosia jayo ene so because of bosia ma boni nsi hu bebrebe aye tua no amortization uni say we calculate amortization granga the defrayment of the principal
just interest.
So we are broke. City has declared Ghana broke. Obi, I'm waiting for your declaration. City TV.
Okay.
Eno nanche no obi Esla medical kajo ma amenya Esla proceeds 3 billion Akufo-Addo enya 12 billion de yeden. Petroleum funds sika Ghana enya free oil mu o man penye Akufo-Addo nko aban enya mu 67%. Je Akufo Mills Mahama omwenya 33 o man penye Akufo-Addo nko 67%. Eurobond sovereign bonds ayeje no Kofone Mills ne John Mahama eje 4.5 billion o man penye Akufo-Addo nko ne ba wumi omenya 13 billion omode ayede. You've wasted all these monies. Plus COVID sika mwenya nyina you wasted nyina. Say yema metua. Oka. And obi this is where I'll end. Almost where COVID-19 na ma ho kira, but we should do something. I want to submit very forcefully before I conclude say the mess we find ourselves in, this conundrum, this quandary that they have plunged this country into is because of their reckless expenditures for election purposes. Is because of their crass mismanagement of the economy. It has got nothing to do with COVID. You know why? Because Obi, before COVID, the economy had already collapsed. Before COVID, 2019, now total tax revenue is 42 billion. Now compensation, sika editu ejuma worker, is 23 billion. Interest payments, sika editu abosia unsihu, is 20 billion. And the interest payments, any compensation for 2019 is 43 billion, more than the 42 billion tax revenue. Your taxes are used to mean yes, I am bi aye mpuntunyuma, bi aye the keka statutory funds. So we're already broke. Not debt to GDP. In fact, your debt on every 120 billion do 225 billion as of February 2020. Covered by March. February 2020, na yaka 225 billion. Na Akufo-Addo wode wabobosia 105 billion. Not debt to GDP, a free 55% to 63%. Before that, not the manufacturing sector, which is so critical.
Okay.
2016, and Mahama, a grow under 7.9%. You know, with all the talk about 1D, 1F for Mampenyo Akufo-Addo neighbor Wumiaye, before COVID, now reduce to 6.3%. Before COVID, now the construction sector, which is so key, a grow 8.4% in 2016 under President Mahama. No. Now, before COVID 2019, Atiaba negative 4.4%, and then a negative 8.4%. You had destroyed the economy before COVID. So don't blame this on COVID.
Okay.
And what I am saying is that nothing has changed. All these taxes, at a time Ghanaians are still battling with the negative effects of COVID. Businesses are still struggling. No? It is unwise. You are going to destroy businesses.
Okay.
You are going to make Ghanaians poorer. People are going to suffer. Now more MPP, social media, funny serial callers now now more defending. You will all feel the heat because we will all pay this through our nose if we allow it. This. And that is why we must all resist it.
He speaks for the opposition NDC. My member Dr. Bernard Okoboyho. Na mintieno, he would also have his 25 minutes to make his submissions. Na fe yahwe etumi atwaso. Ekosiisen is the higher Sempa 94.7 FM. Doc, mpocho yet you.
Mami dawasi. Mami nchia utifo nyina na sympathizers of FNC. All sympathizers of the also obey Mama Friono. Alabiso.
Yeah, Joshua Alabi.
Yeah, is me Now, Obi, I think it's important to break things down. Before COVID, na Ghana has been put on the global map as one of the countries or show serious promise in terms of the economic management, in terms of the policies, in terms of the social interventions. When you know the facts. In fact, before President Kufuor became president, now a growth, somewhere 2012, we were doing 14%, the highest in the world. A forms systematically out of about 3.5%, December 2016. These are facts. When you check the graph from Statistical Service. Within 12 months of coming to office, by the time we completed the first financial year, Ghana's growth now average 6.87%, double what we came to meet. These are facts. Before President Kufuor became president, monetary policy rate central bank, these scammer banks, about 25.5%. Just as a bank be babe ma obusia onwa rate ayedi man no e also got to 25.5% in the year. Into one kasa no be ma wahi. Into obi oye businessman o te Dr. Kobo anim say wo krom ha na the cost of credit is busia kai was no na was slow into a business. Now we yes ka credit to mu kra e was no nti o hwe ska wa obetua no na o hwe sa na o business e den e conform. Krom na inflation, the rate at which Usika conform no, na inflation and double digit before President Kufuor became president. Na Ghana ha o tiemia ye nkrofo mu call bank so mu ko jomu sika na aka say twen kakra ko 2-3 weeks can buy skabeba. The crisis and the fragility of the banking system. Now your individuals will come here omako boka omunkwa ska omaji bank no a blue percentage they bro for a single obligo says onunkwa want me to ka bank ni na TC form. Now in March say it should not be so, but we had a central banker no omo ye helpless because Sebi governor no abami na ni buy or who say nyama nkoye na so no ohwe to the extent say Dr. Baomiantimi can say based on reports our kind most of the banks Sebi say they should not even even have what it takes to operate. Their brother friend the capital CR capital adequacy ratio. Yes, yeah. Obi. These are all facts. And so President Kufuor already president will chrome her. Now Obi kita scar or cut treasury bills because they open maybe I can enira. So Obi come manufacturing. Hey, now power crowd was not stable. How are you going to go into production? All team now Ghana. We know. Oh, please, I'm coming. We knew. Obi. Now, answer President Kufuor president. Now your economy, no. Now your economy, why is so challenged? Say, now even policies are social interventions. Say, whoa, answer now, President. Or see intimate sustaining. So we have to withdraw a policy like teacher training allowance. Take it out. Take away a policy like nursing training allowance. Take it out because budget could not sustain. Wow. And then you have a president in President Kufuor first step. And growth turns around. Fiscal deficit turns around. You go for more savings, our banks. Okobo na mi wo account to a capital bank. Obi. Me die. I slept and woke up with no dreams or fears because of the way it was managed. I went straight. All my accounts were transferred to GCB. Obi. The way it was managed. I mean, in Crawford, Musika, Sebi, in other banks, absorb your money, close here, they will pay their monies. Even Even up to now, people are still paid. Now it's gone to farm management. We spend over 21 billion on budgeted amount. When your capital investment, when you chill, just say about money mismanagement. I ever inherited. You to me, you can't do that. Obi, and let me say it here and now, and all those listening know. For the first time, now we're running primary balance. How do you call it? Primary balance deficits. You see, primary balance. Remember how much show me notes, and then the chair will say, "I buy a one sebi sika oji and I buy in sem compared to the all spending no. It's saying say oyi servicing of debts every month because." On say over two kakesia. Every time say be a lot of ska original service debt. And you say how you are doing currently. You are the primary balance. I know debt servicing you free. You see the OG here. I ain't about some and I now spend. We are running deficits. The first surplus we recorded in a long time was when President Kufuor became president. All these are from Ghana Statistical Service. Surplus in 2017, surplus in 2018, surplus in 2019. Surplus, just say. Usheska banji through taxes, revenue, grants, and all that. Any the expenditure, oyi expenditure ni free the onya enu no. Positive. Ebika. Anything I can say anka o rani negative. Say ebinka obi ene na yanko because say any o bobusia de atua den salaries. You see, because those are necessary expenditures. Like say you see, primary balance ya debt service free. So statutory payments, wages, any projects are
compensation.
And then people can say, "Hey, about we cry one buck count me to." It's true. When you are running a primary balance deficit, it means you need even support before you can meet your basic requirements, even outside that interest, servicing of interest. These are records. How can you describe an economy that was doing a surplus when it comes to primary balance as Sebi collapsed and in shambles and when you for the 4 years that GM was there, he was running primary balance deficit.
Asempa FM.
He was running a deficit. Obi, in the economics, I say medicine, you were indicators. Who person who say, Obi, make us a doctor, whether you're a good doctor on you. If you want to check how the patient is doing, look at the blood pressure, check the heart rate, check the breathing number in a minute, check ni HB. There are things you use to check the health of a patient. So that if the HB was 6, now Atina control to 10. When you finish all the arguments, we'll still come back to check the vitals. So the vitals of economy and the Kufuor shows. And guess what, Obi? The economy now no say no help you, but not so to me to teacher allowance. And yet, this government under President Kufuor and JM were able now to restore what you stopped. Tio recurrent expenditure, recurrent just all the shemwa, and yeah, no china obenya immediately the returns. Yeah. It will come in the long term education. Obi, you have a situation where we were able to we were able recurrent basic capital and recurrent. Obi, we were able to. I should have ever said, Obi,
okay. Recurrent in simple terms, a car who born a debia.
All right. Obi, who born a debia. But you see, Omuka say, Obi, Omuka say, and ask how we call the Ekosiisen on young faso because they are looking at Ebi if you have put the money in the capital market where we are landing. Now we are in the year no. Scan with interest. What I say, sometimes I'm propaganda. I'm to cut out. So we come deal, and yeah, the criteria share capital project will be everybody returns about. So sometimes you can't expenditure by nature. When you spend it immediately, it's not like scar 2 years work of the interest. Obi, the economy under President Kufuor was able to now start reactivate and resurrect programs. You see, it was unbearable to manage. Your economy couldn't sustain. And guess what? The president didn't end there. He now started the single biggest social intervention program in the history of this country until Christ will come. Because some of us, as long as we live, we will make sure that nobody, no matter the excuse, stops that program. Obi, because me the Makada, me the meet tonight a meeting on how to survive and pay my SHS. So as for me, for nothing at all, if President Wibana Wanyeshi, not me, bois families to pay their SHS bills. I'll fight and to preserve that one, Obi. This government started that big program. Emma, economy who said we want to sustain teacher training crown onu ye Emma Sebi Odebi kan. And guess what? The lights too came on. And I upe President Dr. Baumia kan body ni penomu heart rate na koso. Obi, it was Dr. Baumia that made the average Ghanaian understand say and yes engineers bi or ECG. And machines na wa ECG no omu frichi omu hu anu. The problem had to do with sika was on for fuel. Our produce power no, and made us understand that our power problem was a financial problem and not necessarily a technical one. Obi, okay, there was the gas pipeline ECOWAS omupenyino oba Accra ebe meeting. I think is it President Mills or President Mama. Emma, all you no can say ni man assurance. Say Emma bills, electricity bills are cost na atinya to so that they can release the gas to us. Obi. Under President Kufuor, anyone listening to me, you know that power has been more available and stable than the previous regime. If the economy were shattered and in shambles and was fragile and unhealthy, there is no way it can keep your power on. Now, Obi, remember a very simple example. COVID by you know. Into my camp before COVID. Now your interest rates, Sebi, lending, a conform compared to JM. Now, your lights, managing power sector, ayekama. Now programs are Sony Pemu, our Musi Omuntimi Yano, now you're starting Obi. Now a Greek, plenty for food and jobs, food availability and all that now and then COVID struck. COVID in simple terms, I always use the Obi Owo cold store, Ewole Jukuku. Orani cold store, Obi. What turn nam atumu. One amu never turn nam. Omu ko echin. Traders, petty traders, omu roast, omu be smoky cotton, omu ko parties, omu ye funas obi. You see COVID aba. You have two coast on mu. Omba 10 obi. You have two coast on mu. COVID aba. 3-4 weeks. Mount ton nambi obi. I was saying at the end of the month, oko to electricity bills. Obi I ain't turning them because obi I ofie yenye party funeral. Obi. Now example I manu. Na ne baba kusu akonya COVID obi. Why not COVID no? Sebi, although our buying policy to your COVID charges our hospital no. Sebi, or near the name command or high drop in their call and all that. Although the inflow, sika benya we juman a conform to zero no, or no at the same time no, the expenditure then a cost because or shani ba oyari. Obi, this is what happened to the government. A buying found himself in a situation sika oji wa port, sika oji wa kotoka. Income tax obeji from omuye juma, corporate tax obeji from multimedia because business akọ down. Obi a sheni dem no inflow na ska onya na iden akọ form. Enti say oye planning IFN no budget the expenditure versus revenue. Say afi we me spending 100,000 na menya ska from all these companies obi because a closing down restrictions no 100,000 number about 50,000. But a buying finds himself in a situation usika akọ form no expenditure no so upese nipa entrance enya life you must spend more obi. So these are those few occasions unim say dia uye no e de obreba ho but you have to choose between saving lives, preserving livelihoods and economic or fiscal consolidation. And that's why president can say I President Kufuor I will choose activities that will derail my fiscal program for a year or so but will make sure that coastal operator no said be all running out of business. So I'll pay half of the bills and we pay half of all electricity bills. I'll make sure that Nibana Wako reach so I'm going to pay all the bills. That's what we can so call private hospital me body war it's gone. Okay, that 3-4 days. Okay, boy, I paid about 80,000 Ghana cedi 3-4 days COVID. You say, it's sad. I empathize with you, but multiply this amount by the 70,000 or so people who were taken care of in public institutions. The policy of Ekofo-Addo buying is that only COVID now is confirmed. All your bills are absorbed by the state. That's the policy. In fact, I'll say it here, even including foreign nationals. Foreign nationals, University of Ghana, America, they didn't pay a dime once it's COVID. I'm telling you, when we are on the task force, we discuss the policy with the president. Even foreign nationals, if you are in our government facility, once the confirmation comes as COVID, government absorbs the cost. The Ekofo-Addo government has done so far over 800,000 tests in public laboratories. 800,000, Obi. One test, if you do in the private, costs average $50. All this have been absorbed by government.
Asempa FM.
Multiply. You are talking about millions of dollars. The question is that he could have decided to say, go and find money to do your test. I want to ensure that there's fiscal consolidation. If Ekofo-Addo had not paid for your test, you will come to Asempa, you are positive, we don't know. At the end of the day, the rate of infection will be high, lives will be lost. Obi. So this government engaged in spending that was necessary to make sure we are alive for us today, to help us to all build back our country. And that's what is happening now. Look, I've looked at US, I've looked at India, I've looked at Sierra Leone, I've looked at people called Cote d'Ivoire. I just looked at Cote d'Ivoire from the IMF. Their projected growth rate 2020 was supposed to be about 6.97%, just like Ghana. It's been revised downwards to 1.8%. Obi our economists, economists and PhD no by kakra. Obi our economists will tell you that contraction from 6.9 to 1.8, it can be quantified, because growth comes with money and opportunities. When it shrinks, you will lose the revenues that would have gotten from the activities, the economic activities. That's why in the budget we said that the 12 billion we are using to pay capacity charges. Now the 21 billion that has been spent on the financial sector. Now we'll quantify the contraction and COVID expenditure. The debt now it could have come down to about 58.7. All these things can be done, Obi. So President Ekofo-Addo knows that we can work our way out of bringing the economy back. But for those who would have died if we had gone to sleep, there is no way you could have brought them back. Into Obi. Ufia Ghana ha, Obi. Maka Cote d'Ivoire, I've mentioned a deficit. Deficit financing, Obi. The public debt stock, Ghana ha. Between 2004 to 2008, increased by about 30% under President Kufuor. He's the only during that term, and increase in debt stock. Ubeka said they were from chair those in the Fourth Republic up to now. But between 2008 to 2012, the increase in debt stock was 269. All these Ghana Statistics Ministry of Finance, these are official figures. And Obi, who said there's a difference between the official government spokesperson and trying to put out statements. These are official figures. Obi.
Okay, did the debt stock between 2004 and 2008 increased by 30%? Said the okay, Between 2008 and 2012, debt stock increased by 269%.
Yes.
Between 2012 and 2016, debt stock rose by 243%. And between 2016 and 2020,
137.
137%.
Obi, you see, it's not easy to be made the official government.
You need
capacity, Obi. Your cognitive function must be huge. Obi, so the point I am making here is that Obi Sharon say, oh no, President Ekofo-Addo 122 billion. Says I cut 291 billion. Sadly, you come on socialist platforms. It has some. It has a way of touching the emotional tendency. Hey, 122,291 a day, Nana. Because okay, the nominal figures are Sebi. It doesn't tell much of the story. In fact, it can be misleading. It is the percentage increase, and then you can also talk about debt to GDP ratio, which I agree.
Very
it is
important.
these two things that gives you a fine picture of where you are headed towards. Obi. Now, if you look at the percentage increases, one of the biggest times I added tax debt burden was between the mills.
Ekosiisen on Asempa FM.
The time ended 55. In the 5 more minutes.
5 more. Obi. Now, only the first time. Oh, I miss Dr. Bawumia's lectures. My economy, half of the economics was from Mahmoud Bawumia, a good student. For the first time, Ghana recorded double-digit deficit, fiscal deficit, 3 consecutive years. Check from Ghana Statistical Service. 2012, 2013, 2014. Never in the history, double-digit fiscal deficit. Obi, double-digit fiscal, please, please. Check the figures. Obi, 2012,
Noted.
2013,
Noted.
2014. First time in the history of Ghana, double-digit. And you know what, Obi? That is what took JEM to a big hole. Where Dr. Bawumia Kacheni said, because of where you are, you have to run to the IMF. Because the cost of borrowing for you on the market, open market, will be too much. He said, oh, I'll not go to IMF. Finally, like a prophet who has prophesied. Now, Otnaya Mefinika said, "One so me more a bad thing." It came from the reckless spending. That is typical reckless spending. How do you call it? Campaign-related reckless spending. Not Ekofo-Addo all call into an election now. Say bin call akos commission mask.
Asempa FM.
Look at the kind of leadership President Ekofo-Addo gave this country. Having been cited globally as one of the 2 countries that, with limited resources, did one of the most fantastic management regimes. Ghana and South Korea, compared to UK, Brazil, and all that. Can say this was a president that admitted that this is a national and global crisis and took advice. President Ekofo-Addo said, if the science tells us that mask, sanitizing, and distance can reduce the risk, our kids will not be at home forever. Let them go to school, but I'll pay for these things. We found money to do that. And Obi say, oh, and now Dr. Koboy, now Buma Etia, say, Musi Entiabium, respectfully. Me pacho, Obi, and let me say this. I say it because anytime I ask a citizen, say, on Tiaska, media home Brasian, because Sebi, it's always not a nice experience to be asked that bring money. Obi, pacho what I say. But the point I'll make here, and please, Jackson, where I was saying, I won't carry online, clear. The taxes we are asking for is not necessarily to pay for liabilities at Chem, but it's to pay for programs that are currently running as well. Obi. Our testing has not stopped. Obi, as we speak today, my benefit, my relative being a COVID. On any they didn't pay a dime. It's government policy. Obi. Even after passing this budget, as we speak, people are still testing because they've come into contact with Obi. It's free. Government is still paying. So we are saying that let's help ourselves to come out of the hole. It's more being card and say, and as we speak, electricity to 1 million lifeline consumers is still being absorbed by government. Why? Because Ekofo-Addo is aware that the way COVID will affect Okoboy is not the same as it will affect someone walking in the streets of Sebitiafia in Teshi. Obi. So we still have liabilities, sir. Yeah, Kasai still no Ekosu. And let me quickly read one paragraph from Gabi Ochidaku on this line I mean starting. Say, you see, the 2021 budget is not asking you necessarily to pay for the cost of 2020. You are being asked to help share the burden of the existing COVID-19 costs. The underlying word is existing. The emphasis is mine, including vaccines for our 20 million Ghanaians. Obi, COVAX facility now, Eddie AstraZeneca brain. The maximum COVAX will do is to take care of 20% of Ghana's population. Ghana, Ekofo-Addo, apart from paying for tests, paying for your bills when should anybody get COVID affordably, apart from helping lifeline consumers to survive, apart from paying for PPEs for all school children who are going to school, apart from paying for financial clearance for thousands of health workers so that we can meet our goals, Obi, President Ekofo-Addo must find the money to pay for 50 million plus vaccines for every Ghanaian. It is an obligation. It is a duty that he is committed to what? Obeying. Obi. And if all of us have to come on board so that we prepare and protect ourselves, sir. Obi, this is how I'll conclude.
1 minute.
Yes. An economy, even in the midst of COVID, that still can afford to pay the school fees of over 400,000 Ghanaian kids who are going to school, who reported today. This is amazing, Obi. This economy still has the gravitas, the strength to afford the bills of close to 500,000 kids. This government has not cancelled the free SHS program because of COVID. An economy that can still keep the lights on for companies like Volkswagen, like Kantaka, and the rest, Ekumfi, for industry to still be active. There is no way that can be described as under. An economy that even in 2020 when COVID struck has recorded the biggest foreign direct investment cannot be described as in shambles. An economy that is honoring its debt obligations. Obi, one of the quick signals to know that a country is in deep trouble is when it fails on its debt obligations. An economy that is doing and honoring its debt obligations cannot. And lastly, guess what, Obi? An economy that is able to pay public workers even when they didn't show up at work because of COVID or are doing half the time. An economy that can still pay them fully can never in any way be described as Sebi broken. It might be challenged, but not distressed.
Dr. Bernardo Kobo in your training. Can Ekosiisen in the higher Sempa FM? Lawyer Samijan Fibe Bemnansana no. Nescafe sweet and creamy is a Sankebia. But more than a man Sankebi. A sachet 1 Ghana city. If you love that tantalizing aroma of coffee, the you hear a Nescafe sweet and creamy. Where I you hear any hot water, would the gumua na una wo no. CBG say any paying your taxes are easy. Into custom duties, all other GRA payment, they've been made easy at any CBG branch nationwide. Ufa phone, I'll bet my dial *222# it is *222# to pay your custom duties, GRA taxes, EPA levies, Ghana Standard Authority levies, Food and Drugs Authority levies, and levies for all other government services. Ubetimi etria. Into wunti bibiasia free CBG. It was 0302-216-000. Minim sebi our landed property. Ewa Accra and any other part of the country. And as a woman who pedain ato and a pebia rent. Ebi nsua uwa property dada opesa wo dema rent and opesa wo ton. Me pacho ye ho amount. Renters Paradise is your best bet. We boast of a highly skilled team that delivers the quickest response in property sales or rental. You provided the best rates and so on the market, whether you are buying or selling. Only Renters Paradise Ninkomo 0551 954 406 0551 954 406. Na yenshe na intumi emwao. Same?
Yes. Okay, Medas. You see, topic a dawa ye ka ho asem no ene say 2021 budget aba.
Ekosiisen
and in that budget
FM.
Aban nhihye ne say ode eto ahodo nwotwe ebigu Ghana force. Eno ho komo ne yedi. So we topics are producer de maye na. Ne ye hwese ebeboa omanfo, ebeboa Ghana for ana de ahokyere na beto yenso. Dr. Kuboyin Sembebeba wakin primary balance and ye turn way around and ye free SHS and ye 2 allowances. How does any of the things he said addresses the issues I here discuss? Eto amudi gu yeso no. Di na man ye justify. One can wasem. Why must Ghanaians pay baller tax? After paying sanitation levies of different forms at the municipal level. Oko assembly bia or mu property rate ni nyama mu twa mama fo tuatua ni nyina yetua sanitation ka. Ena mote sanitation ministry kura say o my Ghana sika wo ho bebrebe etu adwuma ye foka. Ye hu de mo ye in sanitation. Even at the time wa mote ministry no sam re nimpo na efin mene Ghana fo kese wo krumu. Osanso si yentua to amount 311 million cedis in 1 year. But nafa mu 90 million per kwa sanitation. The aka no de be consumption o ko say no kwa. Address this issue as government spokesperson what ya na to pa so na primary balance and ansem wa wo ka no ye hu bebia wo free back. Please let's get serious here. Musemu to eslamu energy sector levies mutum. Mema argue says that one John Mahama ne de bae o ye nhihye yese Ghana fo betua no 4 years pe enum pono mo ka says that one e nuisance tax na John Mahama timu e dinti no de aba na mo ba mo betwam o ba ye wadada Ghana fo when new boshes so when twam what to eslamu 22% in 4 years udi akosi a wo wage bosia enu nti Ghana fo to e wasanke etua no mfie 9 John Mahama nhihye no ene ye betua no mfie dunu. So I am saying say because of this, ubesi yeso akwasha ye ma 22% awutum ni ehudi e wodi aye. Why must we pay more in Esla? Oto Esla mu no petrol bo obekosoro, lorry fare bo obekosoro obi meboa. Ade e de fa ka bia bo obekosoro. Oman ni mu be ye den. Why is an increment in Esla justified in this time Ghanaians are battling with COVID? And when there was okan wasem.
Ekosiisen on
Baby I wodi ni na mi. Free SHS masa baby I offside cry. Health insurance. O buy na health insurance sika enso scheme ne dada ana jo ma ban po dwen ho kwan obefa so de oil sika kakra be den e be wura the sources of funding of the scheme na mana more sustainable financially. What the mrebi by a friend capping and realignment. Ye jeje to a sika was ye de come health insurance for no de scheme no ho bra no. Na mo di ni office consumption. Say budget support ya capping. Health insurance sika ma fa nko e 2 billion. Na o say sika ni nyina wie. Mo di bi dia mo de capacity building ko check go and check the allocation formula for 2018-2019. Na re sika nko mo de capacity building mo tena office di ni kwa. Now we are also say oh be bedding Ghana for or more because of COVID with taxes. Why COVID? Say ye kwa when here mu and na was so yasene. Etike ye free when ye here ni mu ni ahoto aba na was with taxes as obi abeti ase. But is COVID over? Are businesses thriving? This is the time to give businesses relief. You are imposing taxes. Defenders are ordering them offside. What has that got to do with the taxes I'm seeing here? Same for Roto for Sika wasn't slab 2 billion capping. And the road contractors say work room wuntia moka. Any pebre ebima fa wenya moja bros wu ebima dwuma gu ebima lay off on workers. COVID by some of them are not working because of the bad decisions you took then. Why you be politics in the road sector? And one day we will talk about it. Road levy in this time. Why all these taxes in 1 year? And you don't even have the humility to be honest about the situation and show some concern. Not I will say, oh, I buy now free SHS. Why you waiting? I will address those issues. But look at, for example, this tax financial sector. It's a bank of Unche. Of course, you know that the bank
5%
before profit, 5%. Before profit.
Before profit.
When is that customers in between?
That's a decision the banks would have to take. Of
course, bank be no between as no what free universal because they are also suffering. And they will pass it on. DNT was say what is the purpose of it? Say financial sector anka me anka sa hwetio ni o banks and financial institutions be ahoden for musika sem for. If you shemu amaye hu say sa buy the sika 10 billion Ghana cedis shame or less obetimi aboa amasa banks be bebre omo na so engu omo be wo ho dada na omo ye mu adwuma akoso aye mu adwuma just about 9 billion betumi aye wo was yet more dinty politics inti menya sa ade a metimi de 10 billion aye ni ye no me de 21 billion megu no na makobo bosia 21 billion abetu akos depositors neka wa guna wi akobo bosia betu aka wo se Ghana for ye ne emetu aka ye ne emetu tax na fa kotua bosia na akobo ye edi betu customers neka when you could have used just 9-10 billion to save these institutions. You are punishing us for the bad decisions you took. You are punishing us for your recklessness. This is unacceptable. Then come and address this, sir. Hey, baby, first of all, let me set the record straight. Because this is what Ekosiisen.
Asempa FM.
Dr. Kubo is your government spokesperson watching you maybe a good team. Doc, Miss Shaw. And Betum Futru Muyan in Asempa, dear. Ekosiisen, where yes, Asempa FM. Please. Obi Google it. Ghana budget deficit. Or say 2011, 2012, 2020 in your double-digit budget deficit. It's a lie. In none of those years, in Yasa, this is the list. Ghana government budget deficit. Any.
What's the source?
Any government
Source,
Ghana.
man.
Any.
Source bank.
Countryeconomy.com.
What?
Please, pull it and show it. Show yourself, Dr. Koboy. Dr. Koboy, you are a medical doctor. You know what integrity means to your profession. I am challenging you. Show me your source. Show me your source.
We don't have to split
do that.
On this. Yes. This is something we can find.
Yes. 2011 budget deficit 5.49. 2012 8.38. 2013 9.18. 2014 7.98.
This is not. Ghana's way. What are you talking about?
Obi, this is it.
Let's get to Ministry of Finance.
So bring the Ministry of Finance. So now I can make those bring it.
Official budget statement.
Where is it?
But get it. You are the one.
I should get it when you are. I have
told
told a source. You are the one. So bring yours.
You are the one arguing against.
What kind of logic is this?
Maybe
say they are working in your so I've given you a source document. Show me proof of what you're saying. No, please, Doc. We are discussing serious issues here. If you are putting your integrity on the line and you are saying something as a matter of fact,
get it from Ministry of Finance.
Show me your source.
Don't let us.
Ghana Statistical Service.
No, it is settled.
I'm checking it.
You two check it. So they are working in him. And offside the Yamana or can me deal with because the issues are taken over when you deal with. Let me deal with them. Then or say before COVID, no. Now the economy was booming. The economy was doing well. At some point, when you growth rate here, the best in the world.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Also, we were being celebrated across the world.
So 10 around. 10 around.
That was 10 around.
Yes, of course.
Okay, 10 around, no. And now tax revenue here 42 billion in 2019. But o compensation, sika would do with my forecast. 23 billion.
What is the primary balance?
They would do your unsi who is 20 billion. It will boost your unsi who are with you, currency who are car what the unsi who are with you. Any sika now did you with my forecast. Now 43 billion. But what tax are we getting 42 billion? Meaning that our tax revenue was not even enough to pay to take care of your interest payment and your compensation. Is this the economy? Now see a yenana. Economy and manufacturing sector it grew 6.3%. 2016 economy the manufacturing sector grew by 7.9. The 2000 economy and now say a year 10 around no. Manufacturing grew by 6.3. Is that your understanding of 10 around, Dr. Kuboy?
Ekosiisen.
Is that your understanding? Is that decline your understanding of 10 around? You had messed it up. The construction sector grew in 2016 by 8.4%. In 2019, it had declined to negative 4.4%. Is that the 10 around we are talking about? The financial sector, financial and insurance subsector, grew by 8% in 2016. In 2019, before COVID, it had declined to 1.8%. Is that the 10 around you are talking about? Or don't you understand 10 around? The amount dictionary. That economy was worse. What are you talking about, Dr. Okoboy? Then he talks about growth. Growth has never been better than it was in 2016. There was no 10 around. In 2016, the non-oil sector grew by 4.7%. In 2017, it grew under President Akufo-Addo by the same percentage. We check it 2018, 2019, just around the same figure. The only difference was that whereas under John Mahama, oil sector in 2016 recorded a negative growth of about 16%. Because any John Mahama fought a video, I don't need the oil when you man say. So and for the greater part of that year, no oil no year to be. It's the oil sector you grow negative in it. Yeah, the oil negative growth never can on oil growth, which was good, about 4.6, you know, and my growth never from to 3 point something. And then you came, John Mahama solved that problem in the oil sector. You came and got additional. You came and got additional oil fields. And then the oil sector now didn't grow at negative. It grew at above 80%. So your overall growth rate went up. It was not any turnaround. It was just an oil sector propelled growth, which is a jobless growth in Ghana. When the oils, and let me show you something. In economics, there's a difference between economic growth and development.
You end in 1 minute.
Your economy. Oh, be Mr. And you say, I can't say,
ten.
Oh, you're afraid traffic. I hear this work of you. My Yankasa, my Yankasa. Program where to be a point and cry 610. You have 610.
Na dog afa de
my
na madane me ho aba na ya
wada no de come open for me we fufu say
for 10
then Obi
end in a minute.
So are you getting me? So you have not turned anything around. So maybe because of our own, but the fact I want you to understand the fact that an economy grows that don't mean that there is development and people, the welfare of the people has improved. It depends on where the growth is coming from. So if it is oil sector propelled that, and you have a few of your citizens engaged in that sector, your economy grew, but then a few more. Then Wabeka primary balance. I will not bore myself with those in Yemen. The bottom line was that all the real sector, even check fishery sector, that sector was going in the negatives, whereas in 2016 it was going at 3.1. So we were already on the decline. And I've shown you, say, your debts had risen from 120 billion to 225 billion. You had already added 105 billion to the public debt. Interest in 2019, or say na ye kados to 2016. Say na ye di tuansi hu ye ka. Interest payment in 2016 was 9.6 billion. 9.6 billion was your doso. In 2019, before COVID, now also turning around. Interest payment was 12.9. Obi beboa. Interest payment, in fact, almost 13 billion. Check the depreciation of the cedi. So please, in fact, the depreciation of the cedi in 2016, 9.6. In 2019, 12.9.
In 2016.
9.6.
Oh, they compare 2016.
Yes, 2016, 9.6. So what 10 BB around. Then you claim you turn it around, but in 2019, it depreciated almost 13%. Then interest payments, Grandpa dear, Modi could do 22 billion, whereas under our time it was around 12 billion. So you had not turned anything around.
Okay.
Then Obi meba a few things okay. Okay, be about debt percentage. Or say John Mahama de 200 and something. Na utuya waka. Utuya percentage. And na utuya Canada one. Where from this weird voodoo economics of debt increasing by 10%. John Mahama beto ka 35 billion Ghana cedis. Or you could do 120 billion. In Tixika or the Ghana can 84 billion. And we see one 9.6 billion for the year 2016. What the Kanaka could do net 291 billion. You can't work a percentage as them. The key indicator is important when it comes to debt sustainability. Because it is not how much you owe, but your ability to debt to GDP. And Mahama working, it was 55%. What the Ghana eto 2 years sika ye won in economy ni 55%, and they are saying 76%. Is that the turnaround? Even before COVID, it was 63%. So Obi, the year can say what's that Ghana sika? Ghana for who chiromo?
I mean, you have another time to wrap up finally.
Midst of COVID, don't cry. Appointment in Yamai.
Doc,
take
your turn.
So you guys should not support this attempt to hit taxes on taxes on.
Doc, take your 10 minutes.
Yes. Obi. Me proud of a leader when.
And by the way, free SHS are Ghana or you sika. Because you are doing free SHS. And is also back.
Your microphone is off in the turbo. You have the final. Open your final way, then you say that.
Doc, me proud of a leader. Who say, who manage yare, yare no sebi enye drop na enum. Now so involve restriction na Obi there sabi because manage area involve closure of businesses say nkrofo be to mo adwuma because of peer obetimi anya virus no sebi area yes area apart from closure of businesses involve nkrofo metimi anya ya ni bi o ma hia mo anema we expenditure be kotoro me danyama say me nya president at that moment half of electricity bills to support your country. There are many businesses who Ghana have. President Kufuor said they should support us with energy sector recovery levy. President Kufuor to half of their bills for running their business and Sanka. Maybe they would have got other. Sanka never say sorry Kesiano. No more New York crowd to support us. Many restaurants are Obi because president sure say you bet you half of our electricity bills, all of their water no. To be managing kakaka business is coming back. Now Obi, Sebi, then a fiscal deficit. We budget say we spend maybe 1 million Ghana. Now Obi ska about 500,000. She say difference edema Sebi ska obabe use own ninu and no then deficit. You have to find money to finance that deficit, Obi. Now there are basically 3 ways of financing deficit. Either obe raise taxes, now one is scabebre. And now Sebi. The second one, to go for loans. And the third one, I'm friend with central bank financing. Just obe printing scabebre only. And we have inflation then Obi. Because of your debt to GDP ratio, Sebi. Because Sebi, we have to pay capacity charges. President Mahama nini NDC ko BBI no debt and pay arrangement in the energy sector. Just omo the machine by Ghana sebi say yenye electricity wo mukra wo say yentua. That cost us over 12 billion in the financial year. Sebi because President Kufuor etua obi a onya COVID the medical bills for public hospitals over 70,000 plus. Sebi sky and budgeting for because you are increasing your PCR testing centers from 2 to nationally about 14. Obi within a period of 12 months. Anka PCR establishment at the form anka. Ghana nyina ye won only 2 before COVID came. Obi point a okobo ye ohane say Obi ye spending sika not sebi ye plan require sebe spending, but we had to do that to save lives and livelihoods. Now and then there are ways of financing a deficit. We are not going for loans necessarily, although ABGB, but we are looking at how we can raise from within. Obi now me catch Obi say your taxes are here from vicious taxes, almost setting up they trigger what we refer to as a vicious cycle. Obi to me describe more as nuisance tax. There's a tax I the two so wow ultimate free mono and boy mine so. But Obi, we were very careful. What's your budget now? Both the 10%, 10 pesos for the SPL, sanitation and pollution levy, and the 20% for the energy recovery. Who are the now? Percentage of money increasing, increase for fuel price 5.7%. Obi, but who realizes say under new President Mills, the increases were even more than 5%. Now, question is say, oh, how come say yadi tax it to Nancy's the all form? Reason is simple. Depreciation of your currency CD contributed significantly to fuel price increases because any CD na koto petrol amononi ya the dollar na koto into CD no come from pay, you have to find more CD to what to get the petrol and you have to transfer it to the what consumer. Obi point a doctor okobo mi yani say although ye this car to fuel so no Obi adon dey no sa sika no na be sure say uyare ene na uko hospital Obi aban beti na den aso mu sas kanu na ba be si agenda 101 ye be si 101 district hospitals Obi omo mercy se ba ko ye adwuma wo ho omenya bibi kakra di ahwe omo families Obi electricians omo ye adwuma wo ho ye ba be ma financial clearance this year we are looking at minimum 25,000 health workers Obi also because of COVID. It's a grand program Obi we mu nyina no sebi unwa na oba wie school no onko tena fie Obadness no on tena fie 4 years is say na obi tena fie under JM ono ye be man financial clearance because taxes we be boa ama yatimi asustain eya me nyo sami kasa si ohwa sanitation level class can be beka enya na sanitation e be di mpamocho sa capping policy no say health insurance can be call na yibia enya ska sebi kenofurata editor new 4x4 another Dr. Boy sebi edicot na ba roads na osi Dr. Honorable Amakwata embe ye wo constituency no because yetua ohwe Obi ohwe sky yaji nyina say yetua statutory payments wages na service debts sika account be yejuma no de extra time ye be sia president Kufuor be president no fiscal space just say kwaya da wa sika be yejuma no na extra enti one of the most innovative policies are Ken Ofurata minister edi buy the capping policy e che say ye jitum say ye tua ebia this percentage edi ama this institution by law but because I was saying here other things like constructing roads employing new people into the government sector paying judges doing all those things Obi ye use scan kakra so that yatimi ayeden as support na enunti and yatimi funding the free SHS program and it says scan ye from national health insurance Obi yanfan to fried rice but saska no eboa e ma yetua onua ana oba ni school fees Obi enti capping policy no eboa ma wonya sika utimi edi running programs napco me can dey be Obi the worst experience you can have in this world is to be so equipped in the mind and yet so dormant in the body. Obi, me see the worst experience you can have in this world is to be so equipped and built in your mind and so dormant or inactive in your body. Just say, what do you have been? You are training. Now so unye juma nye because a buying so on this car or the bet to your car. Within financial year, Abanwe had a policy that absorbed close to 100,000 youth out of university, tertiary education. Obi, you have no idea the psychological benefit. I'm not even talking about the financial. Obi, mentally, no. Minimum Obi, tertiary, only Jumayan, Uber will now take it to drugs. Because Osoria, Wabing, Uchel say, oh, how can government increase revenue? Obeka say, oh, realign this, do efficiency in IT. Oh, ideas now. So Abansi on Jobia, private sector too is not growing because cost of credit under GMA also. The point I'm making is say the capping policy helped us to be able to have some breather now and support the economy. Now, Obi, look, COVID-19 is not over, it's true. But I can say emphatically that I see it becoming over in the nearest future. Why? And this is not your first place, America. Me see the development and deployment of vaccines signifies the last phase of a pandemic. It is the beginning of the end. And that is why President Akufo-Addo is determined to find the money. From within, we are building ourselves together. We are all paying. Okobo will pay. Obi will pay. You also pay small to make sure that every Ghanaian gets the vaccine, so that we can open the cinema and not only open the restaurant, so that we can open the the funeral homes to operate fully and not keep them to 200, so that we can open the churches for them to do their service in harmony and in peace, so that our kids can go to school not in a mask, Obi, so that they can interact and build their senses, Obi, so that we can go to school without spending millions of cedis on sanitizers and on logistical arrangements before the kids go to school, Obi. We have to get there, and the way to get there is through some of these taxes, Obi. Mepa Obi Acho, NAPCO program. Yes, budget is about completion. We will complete the Lekma Road. The landing beach at Teshi will be completed. The Pokwasi project will be completed. Tamala interchange will be completed. You live at Weja. You live at Kaswa. Oh, can say that traffic number from government is committed to addressing some of these challenges. Obi, scanner idea. Na mi can say sika ebe ji ewo ho. Ede ahwe onua ba o school no enye sike hu. Obi, sika Akufo-Addo aban eji ode be si hospital ewo district na wo so that onua akwa wo a ye mfa no nto ambulance mu 1 a.m. Now I'm rubber being try so be shooting no sebi enye sika hu. Sika yedi be sure say NAPCO program na anka 3 years pen I see ye no. Now so ye extendi for 4 more years no. Sika yedi be hwe onua no enye sika hu. Obi. Enye mi ya say obeji sika free me ho. De odi be ye and a bet be ya and I be there. That should be the thinking. What is government going to use the money for? Now me wo GD wa buy we mo Obi. I have absolute faith in this government. Say na odi kukudro a starting free SH program now was sustaining no. Sana obe to mini kukudro I sure say ye energy sector light no be gina so. I sure say ye kwan no ye be yamaye ama ye point juma under 3 hours or traffic man sana obe dru fie obetimi akofie e wa hobrase mu umba odru SS abetimi akọ school now so why savings utia 10 pesos wo fuel so ene na so oba bedu school no aban so be som so we so me ha na me so me ye den
me so ha na ye nkonko.
This is because it's a cycle of goodness. You put it in, we all benefit. Mepacho, Ghana can be built by Ghanaians and with our resources. You can go for a loan, but ube tu aban ti say ebe tu ye na sebi. Ye di sika akoshe nneema mu enye sustainable. IMF na che de ING nkrofo adwuma na obi. The best way to go is to resort to some of these measures. Now, President Akufo-Addo, legacies are all COVID, ama a create opportunity. This 111 facilities, it will be the single biggest medical health infrastructure in the history of this country. It took COVID to push us. So COVID did not only sebi ampusayepe, it also made us think of the unthinkable. And guess what, Obi? Guess what? It is because of COVID. And on my way, Obi, as we speak, Yatimia building a testing capacity in terms of PCR over 10 times what we meant. So COVID has not been bad. Now we should thank God say our leadership. The book will come out, Obi. After by the end of this year, I'm predicting COVID will be significantly gone. And we'll write our story, how leadership saved so many lives and created so many opportunities.
Dr. Bernardo Koboina, you're 10 and Ekosiisen. I'll do this. Maybe we'll wrap up after this short break.